Se me fue la batería del mando, así que continuemos.
Let's keep going.
Muy bien, está más adelante. Este árbol. Ajá, roca ahí adelante. Wow.
Wow. Such an
And there's so many mysterious looking
This ancient. Let's conduct separate investigations.
De acuerdo.
All right then.
Kunjun, can you see anything worth investigating?
Well, there is this stone
Doesn't seem very interesting.
Huh. It's worth a try, surely. Let me see. Oh. This is
Hey, what's wrong?
just a bit lightheaded. It's past. Nothing to worry about.
¿Has descubierto algo?
Not.
Whatever. Hyman's going to investigate over there. Why
¿Quieres-
don't you come if you don't
¿quieres
try
una pestaña de
it, you
árbol?
won't know. Anyway, you'll be able to get a good look at our surroundings.
Oh.
When has Hyman ever come up with a bad idea? Wait a minute. Hyman can fly. All right.
All of you, come here.
Xiangli's voice came from... Quick, let's go see.
Otra pista, a ver. Men, ¿qué pasa que no nos quiere decir nada en serio?
Body and mind.
This has been newly dug. It would appear our answer is up.
Is that a voice coming from the tunnel?
Compose yourselves. There is an unusual presence emanating from inside the tunnel.
Ok, él sabe algo. Él sabe algo.
Listen.
The missing miners are here.
¿Qué es eso?
What are they digging for?
I'm afraid that this whole tunnel is the fruit of their strenuous labor.
That gate. Has it been there all along?
Digging a tunnel to this ancient cell. Had they not been discovered, they would undoubtedly persevere till the gate.
So behind the seal bears. We can't hurt them.
La niña. Se abrió. ¡Ta madre! ¿Qué pasó? El pata detuvo el ataque. ¿Pero cómo? Si no tiene poderes. No. No me jodas. ¿Cómo quieres que lo venza?
What type of monster is this?
Morax, you arrive at my doorstep of your own volition. Excellent. Taking revenge for sealing me away will be all the easier.
So, the little girl is your power incarnate. But if you recall, H-Dog, this is not how we intended for events to transpire.
Choco.
It's not your words. Your life is mine.
Sí, claro.
Right. Careless.
Cura, 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 cura. Suficiente, ya me sé. Según este.
Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of Gawa.
Crumble. Right. This is order. Crumble.
Animal test 6308. Stand clear.
Miércoles, dedo goloso.
Face me. Right. There is no atonement for 1,000 years of pain. I see your power.
No, my sword!
Shifting sands know not the mountain's permanent.
No me esperaba toparme con esa cosa.
Quake!
Jumpy, jumpy, go!
¡Au! Miércoles.
Boing, boing, boing. Animal test 6308.
This one's not enough. You would forsake me again?
If that is what you choose to believe, so be it. He who bears the weight of memory is destined to shoulder the burden of truth, as it ought to be.
Checo.
Crumble! Rise! Face me!
Boing, boing, boing. Absorption test.
Fisher!
Enhanced animal module 75.
Order guide you.
¡Boom! Miércoles. Explosión.
For 1,000 years of pain!
Rain outlines your fate.
Falta poco, ya falta poco, ya falta poco.
La la la. Boing, boing, boing.
Crumble! Rise! Shifting sands know not the mountain's permanence.
No, my sword! Rain
Te lo mato, lo mato, lo mato, lo mato, lo mato.
That really hurt. Stand clear. Animal test 6308.
Rats! You think you can destroy me?
Sí, te voy a destruir. Checo. Te voy a destruir, papu. Au.
not good.
To dust!
Jumpy, jumpy, go! Blazing light!
Quake! I will have order! Rise!
Rain outlines your fate. Let me read you a verse.
absorption test. Swirl, Mark 2.
There is no atonement. More power than
Terra Smash!
Stand clear.
No, my sword!
¡Muérete! ¡Ah, rayos! ¿Qué es eso? Y era el poder de la niña todavía.
Morax, 1,000 years after you sealed me underground, you return for the
You should call it by its name, Ashtaha.
fate. Fate? So here lies the wisdom of the gods. Destroy all deemed redundant. Enlist tyrants.
No. You have forgotten.
That voice.
Ashtaha.
Huh? Kunjun?
Morax. It's been a while.
You're
Ashtaha. The very same.
During the battle, you imbued us with your power.
Yes. It was all I could manage.
Entonces, ¿quién es el verdadero Hadaba?
Forgive me for concealing the truth, traveler. There were things that only became clear to me upon reaching this. Allow me to elaborate. I am not Ashtaha the whole, heaven and earth, yin and yang, opposing forces. You can consider the existence of me and the Ashtaha you see there to be a reflection of such polarity.
So there are two
Hay
Ashtas?
dos.
No, it can't be. That's impossible.
When the seal loosened, your power manifested in this world as a child. With this new identity, that's when it occurred to you. The loosening of the seal constituted an opportunity to strike back. Kidnapping the miners was all in aid of digging.
The audacity! Are you insane? If you truly are
I was another power awakened with the loosening of the seal. Too weak to reincarnate, but strong enough to possess I was barely conscious. I couldn't remember who I was. Only the past would elicit a reaction from me. But my aim was...
I had sensed that something was amiss when you mentioned Dragonfall. Had your power been but a little stronger, I would have recognized you.
Don't blame yourself. I have changed beyond all recognition. Only when I touched the stone tap... It's been so long. A secret beyond all comprehension.
There would be no harm in it.
You haven't changed. Ashtaha was once a friend and ally of the Geo-Archon Morax. With a lifespan, the memories of rocks do not last long. Those memories that survive are rooted in powerful emotion.
¿Erosión?
Erosion ground Ashtaha's consciousness into oblivion. Slowly, Ashtaha, now incomplete, became...
What would you expect? It was humanity that attacked the ley lines that...
This much is true. Which is why you attacked the chasm. In the beginning, in order to open up new territory and increase production. Erosion made us even more savage. Morax shared with us some of his power to prevent further erosion. And so, we became you. And from your will, I emerged. I am your final contract. Witness the promise between Ashtaha.
No! No!
I am the remnants of Ashtaha's benevolence. The echo of a contract set in stone. I harbor a will.
No! This is I, Ashtaha, forged of elemental crystal, bearer of the weight and memories of the earth, older than the mountains.
Morax is not
A lord over insects is nothing but an insect.
You forgot yourself. Nobody held Morax in higher regard than you or I. That which you have forgotten, I hold here in my heart. If you are the memory of the earth, all powers under heaven, rise and fall of land and sea.
A star appears within the wild. A sun ascends as bright as... Strange.
You are spent, and I will soon disappear. Before I do, in the wilderness, snow falls on a spring day. In an instant, it will melt. Even where it is fleeting.
No, that isn't true.
Perhaps it isn't, but it remains an inevitable misfortune.
More axe.
The little girl vanished.
¿Se erosionó?
Are you satisfied, Ishtaha?
I had to make amends. Satisfaction had no... So, Morax. You call yourself Zhongli these days.
Ah, él es
I
Morax.
do.
Well, I'm afraid old habits die hard.
As you please.
I never did forget your gift of sight.
I hardly lifted a finger. Think nothing of it.
And yet, you could see. You wouldn't know.
Your power is nearly spent.
Perceptive as always.
Shall we get going, you and I?
Surely the pressing matter is still that of the miners trapped.
Indeed. Hence the need to get going.
Directo al
Straight down
grano.
to businesses.
Vamos. Wow, no me esperaba eso, en serio. Robo 45, sí. Y era un desafío, raya que... Qué loco desafío, en serio, no me esperaba matar esa cosa. Rango 45, la aventura. Ah, toca hablar con Nitro, a ver qué pasa después. Dime ya.
How did we get here? We need to go back and check on the miners.
So there you are. My men and I found your clues and followed them straight here. We found Mao in a tent at the campsite unconscious. Huh? Young Kun, what?
Nothing. Pay it no mind. Those three miners are...
Cave? What happened?
They're exhausted, but not in danger. Don't worry.
Right. Well,
So you're taking them back to Liyue Harbor?
That's right.
Can I come with you?
No problem. You rescued my men. I'll be happy to assist all of you in any way.
Kunjun, we should be calling you Ashta.
Not I. Merely this body. Once I'm gone, the true owner will accompany the miners back to Liyue. Kunjun hails from a family of famous artisans. He too.
You always did have a great admiration for blacksmiths.
Curious how swords and daggers are blind. Yet the...
Ishtaha. I am no longer the Geo.
I can sense it.
Today I am just an ordinary citizen.
Even you met such a fate. Let's get the difficult part.
No matter. If that day comes to pass, Liyue must prepare it.
And how will Liyue fare without Rex Lapis?
Even without a god above, this remains a nation of men. I was once their god.
All life is shaped. That's unimportant. You may live forever.
I do not pretend to match your rhetoric when it comes to the subject of...
Were it not so,
You've brought a smile to my face. When all is said and done, a reunion between...
that day in the chasm. Did you
A heart of stone is a heart nonetheless.
You chose justice, but did not forsake your kindness. You came...
The movements of the Earth Dragon can tremble the earth and shake the heavens.
Hence, do not forget that I was there with old friend.
Thank you, Ishtar.
My life is nigh on eternal. I will go on with the...
You're leaving?
If it is fated, Morax, we will meet again.
Y se va. Entonces ese es Hyun con el verdadero Kung
Yes.
Kung.
Don't be alarmed. He's on.
That was so weird.
In fact, we have yet to meet the real Kunjun.
¿Pero qué idea dejado? Era tu primero
He
tuyo.
was. Centuries may have passed since then, but events from 1,000 years.
In our last tale, Rex Lapis was walking alone in the mountains. He heard a remote voice, unlike any other, coming from a crack in the earth.
A ver esta historia.
Most of the ancient geo life forms that live below Liyue are blind, having not seen the sunlight for an age.
The voice was sometimes sad and song-like. Other times it was loud and thunderous. The Lord of Geo searched here and there before finally unearthing a strange stone from the bedrock.
That's how Ishtar was. I answered his wish and took him above ground.
The Lord of Geo took pity on the rock spirit and carved it into a magnificent work of craftsmanship, a vivid representation of a dragon.
I bestowed him with a pair of eyes to see the world and came to an agreement with him.
With his fingers, he made 2 eyes, quicker than words could tell. Lightning flashed and thunder roared, and a living, breathing dragon soared into the clouds.
I agreed to let him live among the people above ground. But if the day ever came when he brought ruin to order, he would once again be sealed in the dark.
The dragon accompanied the Lord of Geo, fighting campaigns alongside him in the 4 corners of the world. We have a saying to eulogize these events. The crash of a spear brought billowing dust. The mountains and waters made way at the sound. The sight of a dragon bestowed with a touch the promise of rainwater blessing the ground.
Oh.
A 1,000 years ago, Ishtar attacked the chasm. I tried to obstruct him, fighting him tooth and nail. During that battle, Dragonfall was born. Ishtar, despite being the victor, I could not claim to be stronger than he. And in his heart, he still retained an ounce of goodwill towards me. He was willing to be sealed away. But as the erosion set in, he forgot.
Suena aterrador.
Even I cannot avoid it. But there is something I understand. The greater the power, the greater the danger erosion may bring about.
Y entonces decidiste partir.
Personally sealing away an old friend. People abandon and surrender, but I was a god of mankind.
You still care a lot about...
Call it... I must thank you both.
No worries.
Espera. Hay algo que quería preguntarte.
Oh? About what?
Es sobre mi hermano.
Oh, yeah. Paimon nearly... So, not long ago, we met a guy. He told us about Conria and the punishment of the gods. That's when we realized that those events were connected to the person we're searching for.
Tienes que con mi hermana.
Xiangli, you're a god. You've lived through...
I cannot.
Why? You can't even give us a thread of information?
I understand. But I must apologize. This is my contract.
You mean another past grievance? Like the incident with Ejda?
It was signed before it all began. I have always honored the contract. And kept my silence.
How can you be...
You two are friends to me. I can assure it brings me no pleasure to disappoint you. But as the god of contracts, I
En realidad
cannot.
me lo esperaba.
Ready to find out?
Sí,
It
tal vez.
appears your understanding of this world. There are many events of ages past. They have been eroded by time, forgotten by the people. But you are capable of finding them and bringing them in. Those who come to witness will witness. If you take the same road as that person, there may be more difficulties ahead. But as long as you firmly believe...
Y se acabó el fin. Ay, ¿qué no diría? Y tú te quedas ahí. Oh, me dio algo. ¿Qué es eso?
This tablet was erected by Mountain Shaper. It names Ashtaha as a terrible dragon. It's a shame. There is a fine line between good and evil.
Bueno, creo que se acabó. Y no me esperaba luchar contra un dragón ahí. Bueno chicos, creo que lo dejo hasta acá. Hasta la próxima.